statements. Control statement. So control statement is about a statement. What is a statement? Like a statement is a line of code. Okay, a statement is nothing but a line of code, and it classifies into a kind of like sequential line of code. If you have a sequential line of code, if we have a sequential line of code, then we can say that it's classified into sequential and control. Sequential statement execute one by one from top to bottom. Let's say we have a more number of line of code, and we want to execute the code. The one by one, the line of code will be executed. The one by one line of code will be executed. The one by one line of code will be executed normally. But in case of control statement, it execute randomly. So it execute randomly. Let's say I have print statement many times. Let's say I have high print statement. How many times? Let's say 5 6 times I have. Okay, let's say I have this print statement, high print statement many times. So one by one, in a sequential manner, all these statements will be executed from top to bottom. All these statements will execute from top to bottom. But if we applied the control statement, let's say for this fourth high, let's say if I said if true, so in case of true only, this fourth high will be printed. In case of true only, this fourth execution of high will be executed. Let's say if I use if 3 equal to 4, it means it will be false. So in that case, this high will not print. All other than of this high should print. So control statement will be used to execute your code randomly and repeatedly, depends on the specified condition. Depends on the specified condition. If you don't have the control statement, if we don't have the control statements, all our line of code will execute from top to bottom in a sequential way. But in case of control statement, or you can say in case of control statement, it executes the code randomly and repeatedly, depends on the specified condition. Okay, Aman is saying, can you please repeat this concept again? I didn't get this. Yeah, it's just started. Don't worry. We are discussing this concept in detail way. Okay, so yes, so if you don't have control statement, so now we need to know that what types of control statement we have. So we have total 3 types of control statements. We have 3 types of control statements. The first is conditional. Conditional. The second one is loops. The third one is branching. The third one is branching. First, we will be discussing the conditional statement. First, we will be discussing about conditional statement. So, conditional statement is if. So, these 3 we have as a conditional statement. These 3 we have as a conditional statement. Now, one by one, we will be learning what is if. So one by one we'll be learning what is if. So I hope many of you guys are already aware that if is used to execute a block. It is used to execute a block of code only in case the condition is true. Only in case condition is true, then only the block which is comes under this if condition that will execute. So here how we can give that. So there is a syntax for that. The syntax is like if true, then semicolon, then tab, then print high, then print high. Okay, instead of this true, for now I'm writing 4 is greater than 3. 4 is greater than 3. Print by. Print by. So we will create one program. There only we will execute all our conditional statement. Copy and paste. Okay. So when we execute this program, before this I am writing print welcome. Print welcome. So when we execute this program, first of all, interpreter will come at this line. It will print this welcome. After that, it will come in this line. Here it is showing that there is a block. There is a block of line which is having the if statement. So which is having this if statement. So it is checking if 4 is greater than 3. If 4 is bigger than 3, then only it will print this high. Then only it will print this high, otherwise it will not print. And then it is the normal print by. So the output will be what? Welcome. And definitely 4 is bigger than 3, 4 is greater than 3. So it will come inside this block and it will print this high, and then by will print, and then by will print, and then by will print. So it is printing welcome. Then if 4 is 3 only, then this line of code, whatever line of code we are putting inside this if block, the all line of code will only print when this condition is returning the value as a true. So 4 is greater than 3, that's why it is returning true. We already discussed here this how this true false is returning. Okay, so one by one, like whatever we discussed today, definitely there is a significance of our next topic. So we already discussed that what this relational operators what this relational operators and how these are returning the boolean value. Okay, and the same concept in continuation it is used here, that on the basis of true and false, on the basis of true and false, it is returning, it is printing the value, it is printing the value. So if 4 is greater than 3, definitely 4 is greater than 3 will return what? It will return true. It will return true. If we use 4 is greater than 3, it is returning true. So if it is returning true, then only these line of code will execute. If it is returning true, then only these line of code will print. If it is returning false, let's make it false. 4 is greater than 5, which is not correct. So when we are executing 4 is greater than 5, it means the output of this line will be false. This output of this line will be what? False. So if it is false, it will not execute this false code. It will not execute this false code. Now let me execute this. Now the output will be welcome and bye. Welcome and bye. So if it is returning true, then only the code which is coming inside this if it will print, otherwise it will not print. So for the same program also, when we are having high and 3 is greater than 4, so it is returning what? False. So as it is returning false, it will not print this high, because this will only print when this output of this expression will be true. So that's why this high will not print. That's why this high will not print. This is what we discussed. I hope now Aman is good with that. I hope now Aman is good with that. Great. Okay, so this is one way that here here it should always true, then only it will print. So there are two ways for this. We closed that. There are two ways for this. Either you can do like this, or you can also use the curly braces, sorry, this quotes brackets. You can also use the brackets, or without bracket also it will work. So you can also use bracket as well as without bracket. It will work either this or like this. 4 is greater than 3, either this or this, but this one is recommended. Okay, but this one is recommended with the, let me say here, use without braces. Why it is recommended to use? Because in Python they want to remove all the concept wherever they can remove this braces, curly braces, brackets. So that's why it is recommended. But if the expression is very long, then in that case it is good to use this bracket. But in majorly most of the Python guys are not using these brackets. Even this is also asked in interview question, that can we use like this, can we use the brackets here, because many of the Python guys is not aware about this, because no one is using on, even on any of the blogs article you will not found it. So whatever things we are mentioning in note section, those are very important related to interview questions and answer. Those are very much important, whatever wherever we use this note comment and we are passing anything in this. Okay, so those are interview questions and answer only, majorly asked. Okay, so we discussed this one. Now we have if and else. So I hope you guys are aware. So here only I will, here only, that is one way that you can put if, and it is printing welcome, then this is returning false, that wise it is not printing. But let's make it true. Okay, let's make it true. Here we can say that it is true, it is true. Okay, so now what it will print, it will print it is true, because this is true. So we also have another statement which is if and else. If and else, in that case what it will print, if this condition is returning true, then this control statement will print. If this condition is false, then this piece of block will execute, then else block will execute. It is false. In last statement, when we are having only true, in case if it is false, if this condition is returning false, there's no way where we can print if the condition is false, because we are not using else. But if we have that kind of scenario where we want to use, where we want to print, where we want to execute our code, in the situation if the expression is returning false value as well, in that case we have to write if and else both at the same time. We have to write if and else both at the same time. Now now it is returning true, that's why it is printing this value. Always either if block will be executed or else block will be executed. Both the blocks, both the output cannot be called, cannot be printed at the same time. Either this will be executed or this will be executed, because this will execute only on the basis of boolean value, and boolean value either can be true or either can be false. There is no third stage of the boolean value. So if this is true, then this true statement will be called if statement will be called. If it is false, then this false statement means else statement will be called. So let's make it false. 4 is less than 3, and now you will see that it is false will be called. It is false will be called. Even of this true and false, you can explicitly given the false as well. Now always it is false. If false, then definitely it is called this false. So this is if else. This is if else. If any of you guys are not clear, is still not clear, then please let me know. Otherwise, we are explaining one more example to clear this if and else. Now we will be creating one program to compare two number. Compare two number. If we will write only false, then how it will check the condition? Only false. If we will write only false, then how it will check the condition? Okay. So actually what happened is when we write any expression here, when we write any expression here, this if statement next to this statement, either it should be true or false. The internally, whatever expression we write here, our interpreter is not able to understand that whatever expression you mentioned here. So our piece of code is breaked into the sub programs, and each program is returning their value always next to if. Always next to if, either the value will be true or false. Always next to if, either the value will be true or false. So this program is not worried about like what is 3 is greater than 4. It is always expecting the value either if true. It is always expecting the value either if true or if false. It is always expecting the value either if true or if false. Now how we can give the value either true or false? There are many ways. The one way is we can give this expression. Here we learn that we have the logical relational operator, which is always returning the boolean value. So here next to this if, either we need true or false. So how we can pass the true and false? By putting this expression value, because this expression is also returning the either the true and false. This expression is also returning the true and false. So if we write true, so always it will be true. Always it will be true, and it is going to this location, to this block. If we are writing false, always it is false, and it is jumping to this else statement. But my requirement is sometime I want a true, sometime I want false. In that case, I am writing this 3 is greater than 4 or 3 is less than 4. But ultimately, after this if is need, the next should be true or false. This next should be either true and false. Either we are writing true and false explicitly, or our interpreter when we are writing 3 is less than 4, our interpreter at backend, first it's converting into false, and then once this program is converted into this logic only, then only it is returning this, it is false. So internally this 3 greater than 4, 4 greater than 3, always whatever expression we are writing internally, that is converted into the boolean value only, then only it is executing. So whatever internally it is doing, we can also do it explicitly by writing true and false in front of if. I hope. Oh, this is the answer. Okay, now we are doing the comparison of two number. Comparison of two number. If you guys will see the how if and else is internally working, and how the code is internally converted before running, then you will see that always after if boolean value is only required. If we write anything other than the boolean, then the pvm is convert that value into the boolean value only, then it is returning. Okay, now we are comparing the two number. So for that, first let's say let's take two numbers. Let's take two numbers, or let's create the function def check. This is my function x comma y it is taking. Okay, and here I'm converting, I'm sorry, I'm comparing these value. If x is greater than y, this is one way, as I told, we can also use that. So here I'm using that. Okay, if x is greater than y, then I want to print, let's say that x is greater than y. Okay, else else I want to print, y is greater than x. Else I want to print y is greater than x. So this function, the main logic, the function definition I created. This is what function definition, we already learned this. This is function definition. Okay, this is function definition or function logic, where I'm passing two value. I'm comparing this x is greater than y. So if this value will be true, then only it will be printing this x is greater than y. If it is returning false, then else statement will execute. Okay, now I need to call this function. So before calling this function, I want these two values. So as we today we learned, either we can do like this, check 10 comma 20. So always this will take the value as 10 comma 20. Either this is one way. So in this way, always it will be comparing. 10 will be treated here, 20 will become here. 10 is greater than 20. Always it is comparing like this. But as today only we learned the function of what? Input. We learned the function of what? Input. So we will use that. We will use the input function. We will write here, enter the first number. Today only we learned, if you guys still remember. Okay, enter first number, and whatever number we are passing, that we are keeping with variable a, a, and then we are want the value of second number, and whatever value we are passing here, whatever we are value passing here, b value, that we are keeping in b, and here I am passing a comma b. Here I am passing a comma b. So I have one function here. I first this interpreter will call this def check. It is not called immediately, it will come here, input, enter first number. It will ask number from us. We will, let's say we will print any number, let's say 1 2 whatever. It will be kept, it will be keep inside this variable a. Then it will ask the next number. So whatever value will be passing, that will be kept with value b. Then we are calling this check function, check a comma b. First where number will be treated as a x, second number will be treated as a y, and let's say here I'm passing 10 comma 20. Let's say here I'm passing 10 comma 20. So this expression will convert it into like what? 10 is greater than 20, which means what? It will be false. It will be false. And as it will be false, so the output will be what? Y is greater than x. Y is greater than x. Let's execute this program. Conditional to. Okay, let's copy this. Control X. program here. Okay. Yes. So let's execute this. When we are executing this, it is asking, okay, so I forgot to tell you that there's a problem with this. There's a problem. We forget one thing, and what we forget is we are taking the integer value, and nowhere we converted that value into the integer, because this input function will return what? This input function will return integer value. So we need to convert this integer value into string. We need to convert this integer value into is sorry string value into integer value. We need to convert this string value into integer value, because this input function will return the integer value. So we need to convert this into the what I'm telling here. This input function is returning the string value, so we need to convert this into the integer value before passing into the parameter. Execute this. Py, we can also use py or python with condition 2. When we are executing, it is asking enter the number. So we are printing what? 10. Then it is asking second number. I'm passing 20. Then it is going here. 10 is greater than 20. It means internally it will be false. Then after this, that if it will be false, and if it is false, this else statement will print. This else statement will print. I hope this is clear. Let's see if I say 4 and 2. In that case, it will be 4 is greater than 2. It means it will be true. So that's why if in case it is true, then if statement will be executed. If block will execute, so x is greater than y will print. So I hope this is clear. Two number program we discussed. So now we will be discussing the three number comparison with the nested if else. Nested if. So nested if is like defining if block inside another block. Defining if block inside other block. Okay. Now let's say I want to compare three number. So in that case, I want to write the logic. So if what logic I can write? What logic I can write? If this is true, if upper block, so just forget about like three number comparison. If upper block will return true, then output will be what? Output will be this A. Output will be A. If this is true, output will be A. If this is true, output will be A. Now inside this if, I have again if and else. I have again if and else. I have again if and else. And this if statement, let's say if it is having false. If it is having false, we are having print of D. And in this case false, I am having, let's say, print of C. I want the output of this program from you guys. That's why I keep focusing this. So I have if true. So this is outer block. Inside this if block, I have another if else. I have another if else. If false. If false, then we are having print B. Then we are having print B. And let's make another one more block here. If, let's make a little bit more difficult. If false, print C, let's say here. else else print D here, let's say. Okay, and let's make it E here, and let's come out from this outer block, and here let to outer block. I think we already created else. That down. One, wait. Else we have print here. What is A B C D? Let's say this is my program. Let's say this is my program. I have upper if. I have upper if. Inside this if, I have another if. I have another if false. Inside this if, I have again if else. Inside this if, I have again if else, and else of this if is this else, and this else is else of this outer if. Now what is the output? Now I want what is the output, because true and false is already placed, so there is no expression here. Now I want from you guys that what is the output, if you guys are understand if and else. So when it is true, so it is showing it is true. So when it is true, then definitely it will go inside this, because if it is showing true, then definitely control will go inside this, and it is printing A. So definitely A should always print. Definitely A should always print. Definitely A should always print. Now we are having next if. It is showing if false. It is showing if false. So if it is false, it will not go inside this if block. If it is false, it will not go inside this if block, and immediately it will jump to this else, and it will print this what? It will print E. It will print E. It will print E, and this else will not call, because this is if is true. So output is A and E as that's it. So if any of you guys are not able to understand still, please let me know. Okay. So the next program of this evening is with your if elif else. We will use this now. We will use this now. So let's say my requirement is I want to compare three numbers. I want to compare three numbers. In that case, what logic I need to write? Let's say I have three numbers A, B, C. A, B, C. I have three numbers, and I want to print the greatest number. I want to compare these three numbers. In that case, what logic I need to write? What logic I need to write? I will be writing here. Def check. Let's say I have three number A, B, C. A, B, C. Here I need to write the logic. So if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, if A is greater than B as well as A is greater than from C, then definitely the output will be what? A is big. A is big. A is big. Elif. Why I'm writing elif? Because I need to compare three numbers. So I need to prepare the three check. Either A will be greater, either B will be greater, either C will be greater. So I need to create the three blocks where in one case A block will be executed with the statement A is big, and in another case B is big, and in another case C is big. So we can also write this program by using nested if condition. We can also create the program by using nested if condition. Here we can write if A is greater than B, then A will print else. In case again in else block we can write if B is greater than C, then B will be greater, otherwise C. So with the help of this nested block as well, we can print the greatest number. You guys, this is kind of like homework for you guys. You need to convert this three number comparison into the nested block by using nested block. So here we are using how we can use if-elif. Okay, so in one condition we are printing if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then A is big. Elif elif here also we need, it is like elif is also a short form of else if. Elif is also a kind of short form of else if. Like in case of else, if it is happened, then what is happened if B is greater than A and B is greater than C. If B is greater than A as well as B is greater than C, then what will be? Then B will be big. Then definitely B is big. And else definitely C is big, because A, if A is big, then upper statement will call first one. If B is big, then second statement will call. If C is big, then definitely this will be called. Then definitely this will be called. Now let's do some copycat. First number, second number, and third number. A, B, and C. And this is third number. Here I am passing one more operator, and let's say I am comparing 10 comma 20 comma 30. Let's say this is my program. Let's say this is my program, and let's compare this with condition 3. Okay, let's copy this and let's paste this. Condition 3, enter the first number 10, enter the second number 20, enter the third number 30. So the output is C is big. So the output is C is big. Let's execute with this 40, 20, 10. In that case, A is big. Next condition, I'm printing 70, and here let's say 90, here 40. In that case, B is big. In that case, B is big. Now, if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then A is big. If B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then B is big, else C is big. Now, there is also no use of this B is greater than A. There is also no use of B is greater than A. If I remove this, then also output should be same. Okay, let me clear. And if I execute first number 10, 20, 30, output is C is big. Next is 50, 70, and 40. Output is B is big. If I use 90, 40, 10, A is big. Okay, so the output is same. There is no use of B is greater than A. There is no use of B is greater than A. Any doubt till here? Okay, so that's all for today, guys. In next session, we will be learning the next. We will be learning the next control statement, which is nothing but loops. Which is nothing but loops. So in loops, we will be learning the what all loops we have, what all functions related to have here. So apart from the another programming language, we are having a slight difference in between for loops, and then we will be jumping to the branching.